Hello, everyone. Welcome to my podcast, Satisfaction. Today's topic is technical interviews. I usually record the podcast in Kannada, but today I'm switching to English for this topic and the audience. For me, between 2014 through 2019, I managed a large team of developers. It was an active web development team where we were working around the clock in establishing a few new products for an external customer facing portal. You can imagine a Fortune 20 company's external facing application, the volume of associated transactions, and the sensitivity of data, privacy, security, etc. Those days, I used to do more than 100 interviews per year, and I'm not exaggerating. The team was large enough that someone would always come in and someone would always go out on a weekly basis. More than the technology aspect, I've learned a lot about how we think, how the interviewers think. I thought I should share my experiences here. Before we go to the experience, fundamentally, I have one problem with the interviewers. I often find that South Asian interviewers lack confidence. I know it's a generalization, but it's something I've noticed. Having said that, there are plenty of reasons that make them not so confident, but we will reserve that discussion for another day. Back to the interview. When I conduct technical interviews, I'm looking for three qualities in this order. First, communication skills. Second, attitude or problem solving skills. And the third one is technology experience that's relevant to the job. If you notice, the technology is at the bottom of the stack. Believe me, if you can give me someone with the right education background and the right mindset, attitude, I can train them in any technology. For example, I can always happily train an Angular expert for a React job and vice versa. If someone's really good in Angular, they will pick up the React just in a couple of days. Communication. I want people to pay attention to this. When the interviewer asks, for example, tell me about yourself, have a ready or canned answer. Don't think about it at that time. You know this is going to be the first question that anybody would ask. Trust me, when the interviewers ask, tell me about yourself, they are not just interested in your background, they are also looking at several other qualities. This is what I used to worry most. Why do people find it hard to answer, tell me about yourself? There is a very simple formula how you can answer this question under 2 minutes and be done with it. Just memorize it, rinse and repeat. Here's how you can answer tell me about yourself question. Include your name. I'm working as a technical consultant, for example, at a given company for the last few years or months. Then you get into my expertise are I'm a DB engineer, system architect, UI developer, project manager, etc., etc. And my current project, what am I working on, and what am I developing, what I have developed, etc. For example, you can just use this as a template if you want. Hi, my name is Alex. I've been working as a data analyst at XYZ Corp for the last 2 years, focusing on building predictive models that drive customer insights. My strengths include identifying trends in large data sets and communicating findings to non-technical teams. Most recently, I led a project that saved 20% in marketing spend through targeted segmentation. One more thing. When you answer this question, be very happy when you answer this question. Don't put a sad face show. That's not what this is about. You have to be proud in describing what you do for a living. Second one, attitude. There will be questions you won't know the answers to. This is when I closely watch how someone reacts, whether they use all of their brains and resources in coming up with the answer. You know, just keep talking in the form of brainstorming, but don't add any BS or rubbish. State your assumptions and think through the problem on hand. The situation or solution or something close to the solution will automatically evolve. In this agent time, I can write code myself using AI. Why would I hire you? That's where you come in. That you are a developer, you are a problem solver, you are a leader, and most importantly, you add value to the team. Last component is the technology. I'm very serious here. When you say I'm a computer engineer and I have a master's degree in computer science, I want you to be ready to showcase the skills needed for the job. I always say, know a good amount of operating system. Have a deep understanding of one of the languages, any language for that matter. Have a working knowledge of the development space, how you write code, where you write the code, how do you debug it, how you unit test it, deployment, integration test, production support, etc. For instance, if you're deploying a web application, you should understand not just the front end code, but also the back end integration and testing. Believe me, unless you do things end to end, you can't just wing it. I feel that people should put their mind into it and make some efforts to be ready. Using the cloud resources, for example, these days, you can practice any technology on your own. Last thing, when it comes to technology, please try not to cheat. We all know this, and the interviewer will know right away, and it's not going to be good for anyone. I've seen it all: lip syncing, Googling for answers, reading from papers, fake, buying time to think, using Copilot, etc. Alright, let's go into the details of the interview itself. During heavy loads of interview time, I want to maximize my time also. It's humanly impossible for a manager to review 30 to 40 resume and assess a candidate. Knowing that most resume would have some cooked up material, especially when you talk about some fresh graduates, the manager's job becomes even more challenging to find a good candidate in a big stack of paper. I spend 2 minutes max per resume. I look at the educational qualification, degree, and the name of the school or college. I look at the employment history and the length of employment and if there are any particular gaps. And lastly, I look at the technical skills and exposure. I also request the recruiters to send a short video profile or any mock-up interview bits so that I know how the interviewer speaks beforehand. In ending, I'll give you an example. Hopefully this kind of helps you set your mindset. I was back in 2018, I was looking for a senior Java developer. Remote working was not an issue. When this candidate was presented to me on a video mock interview, I noticed she wasn't answering even the basic questions adequately. I looked at her resume. She was well qualified and experienced, but there was about a year's gap in her resume that intrigued me to think that what might have happened. People take time off, they lose job or they fall sick. They take time off for caring for their parents or they have newborn, etc., etc. It's just all the life stuff. And then, if someone says in the interview that I took time off for a genuine reason, I consider that as a plus. But it has to be truthful and authentic. I said, you know what, let's schedule the interview. Sometimes I also have another senior developer with me assisting in the interview process. We had her on a video interview. So I started asking get to know the person type of questions. Her communication skills were okay. She was a bit down and looked tired. I asked what was the gap on her resume for. She said she had taken time off when she had a baby. That explained everything. You will know when you have a newborn baby at home how big of a project that one is. Then I started asking simple technical questions. I gave her 3 strings, AX, BY, and CZ, and asked her to do a few string manipulations using Java. I noticed she was neither telling me the algorithm as to how she would go about doing it, nor creating a proper syntax in Java to solve the problem. Then I pushed her. I told her, look, you're an engineer. You say you're an engineer and you have a master's degree. When I asked you, what's your proficiency level in Java? You said 7 out of 10. Now I'm asking a few basic questions in Java and you're struggling to answer. Why should I hire you? I think this got into her. That kind of woke her up. I could see in her face the kind of shame, at the same time helplessness manifested that she was not capable of answering the questions correctly. I changed the topic. I asked the same question that she had answered incorrectly in her video profile, thinking that she would have done some homework to make it correct. Nope. Even after a day later, she didn't have the answer that I was looking for. At this point, my team lead programmer said, "Why do we waste our time in this? Let's move on to the next candidate." I told him to wait. Then I started giving her a series of inputs, the tools that were available within the Java, and anything to manipulate the string. There are plenty of things to do that. So as soon as I gave her some hints, she started to use them methodically and started to write the code and arrived at the right answer for every question that she has struggled before. She came to the interview worried, but she left the interview with a smile, bright eyes, and a confidence on herself achieving something. I finally hired her. She became the best technical resource on the team and she was able to achieve her full potential. A few years later, I heard back from her. She's doing very well even after having 2 kids. The reason I share this story is to help you level set your confidence. Be confident that there are only a few percentage of the people in this universe that are computer engineers and you deserve every credit to be so. Just polish yourself up, just boot yourself up. It's okay if you're beaten in an interview, but make sure you accept the challenge and learn from it. Hope this is helpful. Let me know your thoughts, and if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.